All right, so when we were doing solving by square roots, it would need to be a case where you didn't have an x squared and an x. So if you look at these, they pretty much all of them, not all of them, but most of them have x squared and x, so we can't solve by doing square roots. So one way that you can do that it always works is to use the quadratic formula. Now this is the quadratic formula over here. And it's a lot. Like it's got a lot of parts to it. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a song to help you remember it. Let me just see. All right, so here's the song. And on Friday, we only have like 20 minutes or something here on Friday. If you want extra credit, you can sing the song for the class for extra credit. And you can sing along today too for learning purposes.
Hey guys, this is Julie with Mahalo.com, and I have a huge tip to help you remember the quadratic equation. Now, every once in a while, you're going to have a teacher that's going to put this on the test, and they're going to say you need to have it memorized. So how are you going to memorize it? We've got a song. It's a song everybody knows. So we're going to sing this equation to the tune of Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Now I'm going to start with, I am not a singer. I'm a math teacher, so excuse the singing. I'm going to sing it once for you, and then I'm going to ask you to sing it along with me. Here goes nothing. X equals opposite b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. It's important to know the word is opposite, not negative b, because sometimes when you're plugging in a b, you need the opposite side. So we use the word opposite there. Let's try it again. You're going to sing with me this time. No, seriously, we're going to sing. I know nobody's around. Sing it with me. Remember, it's row, row, row your boat. So here we go. X equals opposite b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Learn this, you'll never forget it.
All right, I'm going to play it one
Thanks
more
for
time.
learning with me.
So it can get in your head properly.
I know nobody's around. Sing it with me. Remember, it's row, row, row your boat. So here we go. X equals opposite b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Learn this, you'll never forget it.
All right. So it is a difficult equation to remember. So the song definitely helps. If any of you want some extra credit, you can sing it for the class if you want to. It's up to you. So let's talk about how you use it. So knowing it is one thing, but being able to use it is also important. So what we have to do is figure out what A, B, and C are. So this topic is just quadratic formula, solving by the quadratic formula. All right, so you need to put your phones away, please. All right, so what we want to do first is make sure that we're in standard form. So we want everything on one side and 0 on the other side. And so we have that. Actually, we're doing number 2 together. We have that on number 2. And so what we need to figure out what A, B, and C are. So A is going to be the number in front of x squared. So what do y'all think? 6. And then B is going to be the number in front of x. And then C is going to be the number without an x. All right. Then we're going to put them into the quadratic formula. So x equals the opposite of b. So what is the opposite of negative 11? Positive 11. plus or minus the square root. Now, for all of them except maybe the opposite of b, when we put them into the quadratic formula, it's going to be good for us to put them in parentheses. So it's going to be b squared, which needs to be negative 11 squared minus 4ac. So minus 4 times negative 6 in parentheses times negative 10 in parentheses divided by 2a. So then 2 times 6. Okay, now this is too complicated for the calculator to do it all at one time. So we're gonna kind of do it piece by piece. So what I would want you to do is plug in what's underneath the square root in your calculator. Okay, and I would do it just like it looks. Let me put it up here again. So if I wrote it in parentheses, type it in parentheses. So we're not going to do the square root right now. We're just going to type what's underneath the square root. So negative 11 in parentheses, square on the outside, minus 4 times 6 in parentheses, is negative 10 in parentheses. All right, so that should give you 361. All right, so that means that 361 is going to go underneath the square root. And then 2 times 6 is 12. All right, so now we haven't written down like all the squares to 400 lately, but someone type in the square root of 361 in the calculator, please. That's just 19. The square root of 361 is 19. So we can replace it with 19. Okay. And now we can solve this as two fractions. One that's going to be 11 plus 19 over 12. And the other one is 11 minus 19 over 12. Right? And then we can type both of those in the calculator. All right, so to get your fraction, it's alpha y equals, and then 11 plus 19 over 12 is going to be 5 halves. So that's one of your answers. And then if you don't want to like retype the whole thing, you can just go up, choose it, and then go back and change the plus to a minus. All right, so we're going to have two answers like most equations, most quadratic equations have two answers. All right, so this is going to be 5 halves and negative 2/3. All right, that's quadratic formula. So your calculator does a lot of the work, but you have to know the formula. It's quite a bit to remember. All right, let's look at number 4. On number 4, we're going to need to get everything on one side before we decide what A, B, and C are. So we're going to move over the 4x. So we're going to subtract it from itself and subtract it from its like terms. And then we're going to add the 15. So 3x minus 4x is negative x. And then 15 doesn't have any like terms, so you just have a plus 15. Now don't do A, B, and C yet. Hold on, I want to tell you something. Now, it's going to work out easier for us in the long run if this first number is not negative. All right, so anytime that I get everything on one side and that first number is negative, I'm just going to go ahead and change all the signs. So the negative 2 is going to become positive. The negative x is going to become positive. And then the positive 15 is going to become negative. We can do it the other way, but it's way easier if we do it like this. So I'm going to write that on the side. That if A is negative, let's go ahead and change all the signs. All right. Now, when we did this last period, when someone was finding A, B, and C, they went back to the original. Don't do that. When we're finding A, B, and C, we're using this one right here. So you guys write down what you think A, B, and C are, please. All right. What do you guys think for A? 2. Good. Now B is tricky. What do y'all think for B? 1. And C is negative 15. So when you guys decide on your A, B, and C, don't ever put X. A, B, and C are numbers only. Don't put 1x or 2x squared. Just put the number. All right. So now we're ready to plug it into the quadratic formula. So x equals the opposite of B. So the opposite of 1 is negative 1. Plus or minus the square root of B squared. So that's 1 squared. Minus 4ac. 4 times 2 times negative 15 divided by 2a. So that's 2 times 2. Right. So after you get it typed into the calculator, written on your page, you're ready to do the calculator part, where we're just going to type in that 1 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 15. All right. And you should get 121 underneath the square root. So what is the square root of 121? 11. All right, so you just replace the square root of 121 with 11. Right? And then it's a situation where you have two fractions. One where you have negative 1 plus 11 divided by 4. And one where it's negative 1 minus 11 divided by 4. So you guys practice typing that in. To get a fraction, it's alpha y equals. Right, so you should get 5 halves and -3 as your two answers. All right, we're going to practice one more. All right, so let's move that 10x over before we decide what a, b, and c are. Can I subtract 8x squared and 10x? Like, are they like terms? They're not. So we'll just write them like that. So this one is missing one of our a, b's, or c's. That's okay. We can still do it. So a is going to be 8. B is going to be -10. What do you guys think C is going to be? 0. Good. All right. So X equals the opposite of B. I almost messed up. So B is -10. So the opposite of -10 is +10. Plus or minus the square root of B squared, which is -10 squared, minus 4AC. So 4 times 8 times 0. Divided by 2A. So divided by 2 times 8. All right, so after you get it written down, you're ready to type it in the calculator. And that's going to be 100. Square root of 100 is 10. All right, and then we're ready for our two fractions. One is 10 plus 10 divided by 16. Another one is 10 minus 10 divided by 16. All right, and so we do end up with two answers again, 5/4 and 0. Now, I'm going to get you started on number 5. This is going to be part of what your assignment is. Your assignment is going to be weird today. I changed it after I taught fourth period. I changed my mind about what I wanted to do. That's fine. So on number 5 is one of the ones you're going to do for your homework. Let's go ahead and get everything on one side. All right. So a is the number in front of x squared. So that is 9. B is the number in front of x. So if there's not an x, what does B need to be? 0. Good. And in this case, C is -25. All right. I'm going to give you, C is -25. I might have, I don't know. I'm going to give you all the worksheet, and then I'm going to explain to you what I want you to do for your assignments today. All right, now not all of the quadratic formulate questions, work out like the ones we did today, where it's a perfect square. So I'm saving the other ones for tomorrow. So what I want you guys to do today are on this note sheet 1, 3, and 5. And then we'll save the back for tomorrow. And then on the worksheet, on the note sheet, what we just worked on, 1, 3, and 5. And then on the worksheet, I just gave you Unit 4, Homework 8, this one. I want you to do number 2 and number 4. I know, it's confusing. So 1, 3, and 5 on the sheet we just did, and then 2 and 4 on the other sheet. And I do have the answers, I think. Let me scroll. Yes. All right. So those are the answers to those 5 problems for today. And then tomorrow we are going to do some that are a little more difficult to do.